Evtol Weekly, episode 8. My name's Liam.
And I'm Reese.
And Reese, we're on a bit of a downer. You want to let the guys know exactly what has just happened to us?
I know, yeah. So if you're all wondering why we're a bit downtrodden today, Arsenal, who's our football team, or soccer for you guys in America, we've just missed out on a final, semi-final, second leg, and we've lost 2-0, and we just played off the park, really. So that's a bit of a shame. And then in terms of Joby and Archer news, I think we're in a bit of a drought, Liam.
Do you know what? We are in a bit of a drought. There's a few exciting things this week, but I think it's more speculation, if anything.
Yeah.
We can dive into it as we get throughout the stream. But how was your week been overall?
Yeah, it's been all right. It's ticking along. I think that maybe something that wasn't actually part of Joby and Archer news, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning, has been the aviation crashes that we've seen over in America at the moment. So we obviously want to send out thoughts and prayers for everyone who was involved with it, but also looking at it from another point of view is that it just shows how important safety is in the aviation world. And I think it probably does signify the importance of getting this part certification and everything correct. And it just goes to show, even something that is been around and done thousands and thousands of flights, there is a chance that it can go wrong. But yeah, so for me, it was just a bit of a concern, really. But yeah, it's very sad. Very, very sad.
No, I know. It's one of those, the world's a funny place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a cruel place at times.
Yeah. In other news, we got Palantir up to $100. Mate, between
the one that got
me
away.
And you, between me and you, I think it's the fish that got away, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we'd have been millionaires by this point.
It's one of those, I actually sat back and I thought, like, I am so happy with my rocket lab, but like, if we got in at Palantir when we said Palantir was a nice buy, it would have been something else. But I think we were so stung at that stage, and it left a sour taste in our mouth about these speculative stocks.
Exactly that.
We never did. But guys, let us know who is in Palantir at the moment. I done a video yesterday, so we'll link it back to Archer. So I done a video yesterday where it was a bit of an update on a video I'd done there about 7 months ago. Do you know why? I completely slipped my mind that I had even done it. It was Archer actually using Palantir's artificial intelligence platform, and they're using it when it comes to anything to do with their manufacturing. Do you know, it just streamlines absolutely everything. I can't believe that it's not pushed out there more, that they are a customer of Palantir, and how the business is going to roll in general.
Well, it does, it fills you with confidence that their management systems are being sort of governed by AI, and Palantir seem to be at the forefront of this at the moment. As you were saying last week, it seems like, talking about Palantir again, it's Kathy Wood was saying that she thinks there's going to be an AI boom, and that Palantir, this is just the start of it. So I think on our road to glory, it's something we're definitely going to have a look at. We'll obviously delve a bit more into that later on. But in terms of Archer, I think it's really good signs that they're working with Palantir, and the fact that Palantir can work with them as well. It sort of gives you a proof of concept in my world.
Yeah, and there was a bit of excitement, and I don't know, there's a bit of speculation going around this week. What I might do, I might share my screen. There was a picture going around X, and it was of a truck with a box in the back of it. Now, rumor has it that it's midnight being moved from San Jose, California, all the way to Salinas, California. Now, guys, if anyone has an update whether this is a midnight in movement, please let us know. I don't know who got the picture and why they think there's a midnight in there, but Salinas is the home of Archer Aviation's headquarters, but it also has Salinas Airport there. Another bit of exciting news this week is some of the guys found that Archer Aviation now has a ticker as a flight symbol on one of your flight trackers. So you can speculate that this is an Archer movement to the airport and they're ready for flight. Now, I don't know how true this is.
Yeah. It seems to be a good sign, though, doesn't it? That if it's been added to the tracker, it seems like another step forward. But I think this is more in terms of what we were saying about earlier. I think this is the stage we've got to in this drought, that speculation has started coming out and people are taking pictures of crates. Because I'd love to believe that this is it, and they're moving it to the airport because they're thinking about increasing testing and moving forward and maybe getting a plan in place for it being by Salinas Airport. Yeah. But about us opening that box up or seeing what's in, and then it's quite obvious that it's obviously being kept top secret at the moment. So I highly doubt that whoever's taking that photo is going to be able to get one where it's just out in the open, or he's going to be able to open the box up without probably losing his job.
Yeah. Really, Archer, this week, I feel like I'm scraping the barrel.
Same.
And whatever I feel about Archer, Joby, mate, it feels like pulling hen's teeth at the moment. It feels like we have covered Joby.
I know. I've been saying this for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I am 95% sure that the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, has basically put a halt on the regulations and moving forward with this part set. So at the moment, that's why I think there is no news really for them. It's that, or maybe they're maybe there is like a big partnership coming out and they don't want to let anything slip, or maybe there is big news in the pipeline. But the one that makes the most sense for me at the moment is that regulation's been put on hold and there's not going to be any progress until they've thinned out the department that's meant to be looking at it. Which I think we can look in 2 ways. We can look at it in one way, it's going to be stalled for 3 months, or when it comes back on, regulation might be more streamlined, meaning we might get there quicker. So it's like half a dozen one, 6 of the other. But I guess we won't know until we know, which is unfortunate for us at this moment in time.
Now, some of you guys may have seen, I was really scraping the barrel with Joby yesterday, that what I'd done a review of Joby's Q3 earnings. So I went back on the Q3 earnings, took a few notes, done a bit of a presentation up. And I was looking, they were saying they were 21% done of stage 4 of the certification. We want really an update on that coming up into the next earnings. We want more clarification when it comes to the hydrogen product. Now, I did state in that I feel like the hydrogen product, to me, is the exact same as the Evtol hybrids that Archer are doing in one way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a bit of a pivot, and I would like to get certification over the line before we start branching off doing these hydrogen products, these hybrid products.
Yeah.
However, each to their own. As long as they get certified, I don't really mind. Then they were saying they were going to produce 1 vehicle a month. Joby were. I want an update on how that's getting on, because at the moment, all we know, there's 4 prototypes in flight. Is there going to be a 5th prototype being made? Or are they happy enough with the stage of the S4 now that they're more or less that flight production once they get in stage 5? It just feels like a lot of speculation at the moment. It feels like we're talking about the same things every week. And
I think,
what I feel like it leads us on to is one of the new stocks we're covering has entered the VTOL market.
Yes, and that's
so
a video that we've both covered, I think.
Yeah.
The
So RedWire Space, guys, don't click off now because I'm being serious. They are after acquiring a company called Edge Autonomy, and the deal was about 950 million. Edge Autonomy were doing UAVs and drones. Now, one question I have for you, Reese, is we know RedWire Space as a space infrastructure company, the 3D printing infrastructure company, yeah? What in their right mind brings them into the VTOL UAV defense market? Would you be happy? I know their market cap is up on 130 million. Edge Autonomy's around near enough the same thing.
Yeah.
What? It's basically they're swallowing up a company the exact same size as them. What is bringing them in here? Now,
I don't know. They're a bit like a conglomerate of like just loads of different companies that specialize in multiple. They're like multifaceted. They have like an arm for absolutely everything. At the moment, like when we were doing the research there for our video, I realized that like they are made up of like 4 or 5 different companies that specialize in different niches, and then they've just merged them all together so that they're covering everything.
Yeah.
So this wouldn't surprise me if they did buy this Edge VTOL, and you can only imagine that it would be easier to look after things that aren't in space. It's easier to look at it what's here on Earth. So I can't imagine it being too difficult for them to oversee, and it would just be another branch from them. But at the moment, they just seem to be sort of taking over. I think it was over in the last 6 months. It's been 300% growth for them, and I could see it. Like, I don't want to have to eat my hat, but like I've said it many times before that I can't see it going much higher. But this one, I think we really need to like get on board and see where it's going.
We have to keep an eye on them 100%. The only thing that worries me is then I covered a video on their CEO talking, and they say why go into air. So they're in low Earth orbit. They're specialists in low Earth orbit. Now they want to enter the air. He goes, the next phase was the air. It was either the air, the sea, or the land. And that just gives me, like, you don't know what direction you want to go in. If you're playing all the cards down, like, does that mean tomorrow you're going to acquire a boat company? Or
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going. However, they have been doing quite a few deals lately. They done another deal with our beloved Virgin Galactic.
Jesus. Now, if that's not a red flag, then I don't know what is.
So, guys, anyone that doesn't know, Virgin Galactic had a ship called Unity. It was able to fly members of the public up to space. Well, if you could call it space, zero gravity, and then back down. The whole journey, it took about 2.5 hours to get up, and it was 5 minutes in space, and then back down again. Then it'd take a month to replenish. So it cost them more to run this Unity. So what they've done, they've taken Unity, they've decommissioned Unity, and they went on a manufacturing cycle to bring their next aircraft or their next spacecraft called Delta. Now, this is where RedWire come into it. RedWire are going making lockers for microgravity experiments on Delta spacecraft. Now, my problem is, I done a video on it last day. You're 2.5 hours going up. You're in space for 5 minutes. You unstrap after a minute, and then before you come down, you strap back in. So, yes, you've lost 2 minutes there. So what? You are going to gain... Virgin Galactic came out and said it was going to benefit them and enhance them so much. But what are you going to gain? You're going to gain, what, 120 seconds from these new lockers? I just don't understand the business model behind Virgin Galactic. However, I can see why RedWire are doing it, because as long as they are making deals, it doesn't really matter. Now, the only thing is, I would be happy if they took the money up front, because
that's what I was just about to say.
No deals with failing companies. Have you any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's a bit like lending money to your friend that's a bit bad with money. Like, you should try and avoid that at all cost. And I think that's what Virgin Galactic is. They're just the friend that's very bad with money and will forget it as soon as you lend it to them. I wouldn't trust Virgin Galactic unless they were paying it up front. And yeah, as far as I was concerned, I would try and avoid them. They had such a high cash burn before, and to be honest, they've done well to stay afloat. But I just try and avoid them now at all cost. It burns me once.
Like, it does make me think, why don't they do deals with the likes of SpaceX, Rocket Lab? They have a deal with Blue Origin now. That's another one. So the what is it? The Blue, I cannot remember off the top of my head. It's one of their satellites. The solar panels off the side of it, and they're doing the
Rosa.
No, it's an actual satellite. So it was launched on the first New Glenn mission. My camera keeps dying on me.
But like researching into them, my favorite part of it really was going to be that 3D printing whilst in space. Like that is, you can imagine how much time and costs that can save, as well as it probably like be able to extend the length that you can have the spaceship up and in flight, and like the life expectancy of that craft. If you can 3D print the parts that you need to fix it, or just having it there will be very handy. So like for me, that was one of the greatest utilities I could see for them. But yeah, I think we'll have to see where that one goes. The other thing that they have is the Rosa. So the solar, basically like upgraded solar panels, and it would be able to be more powerful than the actual solar panels. And then they obviously use them whilst in flight, and it helps to increase obviously the energy and power that they can gain up there. So like that's what I mean. They have quite a few utilities, but it's like what they say, isn't it? The jack of all trades is a master of none. So I think, but at the moment the stock is absolutely rocketing. Pardon the pun. That is, I think it's definitely one that we need to keep our eyes on, and especially because it's in this industry, and if it's even coming into VTOLs as well, it seems very close. And if it's one that can make us all a bit of money, then I think we have to keep our eye on it.
Well, like the market cap, I'll bring it up here. So the market cap of it now is 1.5 billion. Yeah. Guys, if you compare that to Rocket Lab's like 14 billion at the moment. Like, I'm not calling them Rocket Lab. However, if it even gets a quarter of the share Rocket Lab gets, we're going to make a little bit of money on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a bit of a brutal day today. So Uber earnings came out. They actually beat on earnings, but some of the forecasts going forward aren't that great. And then it made me think back to like Joby and that. Like, we don't hear enough about Joby and Uber. Joby and that point. Like, surely with one of these big giants, and I want to hear, that's another thing I want to hear in this earnings call, is Joby need to start pushing out more about Elevate OS. They were very big at the time driving, we have bought Uber Air. But now that it's called Elevate OS, I know they're trying to distance themselves from Uber Air. However, they need to, like, I don't know, bring in the big guns. Like, we basically are Uber Air.
Yeah, exactly.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the only reason that they might not be is they might not be ready to roll it out yet, so they don't want to get people too fired up too early. But that's the only reason that I can think why they wouldn't. But even then, you can still put it out and get people. Like how often do they like put like films or something out a year or 2 years before? Like you need to build up that excitement for people and keep everyone in, like basically on the merry-go-round sort of thing. You need everyone on, and we keep it like going. But at the moment, that's the problem. Like we don't really find out any information because like I think all of us here are firm believers in this tech, but at the moment, literally, we get a bit of information, and then 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks now at this point, just absolutely just cut off from source. And now you've got people like taking pictures of boxes and stuff like that. That's where we're getting to the stage, and that's what all of us investors do. When we don't get any information, we go and find some. Like, we'll look and we'll scour the internet, and you'll find
And the
anything.
is, when they get things like these wrong, I'm not saying they have got this wrong, but when they get things like this wrong, that's when you start sort of proving the bears right. Next thing, they'll be coming in and they'll be saying that
oh, look what you guys were saying.
Oh, we have a celebrity in it. We have Vaz.
Oh, Vaz is back.
Vaz
Hey,
is
Vaz,
back.
how's it going?
So Vaz actually does a Evtol stream on another YouTube channel. Cool haircut, Liam. Thank you, brother. Reese just completely scalped me, so you can blame him. But Vaz, have you any news? If you have any news, Vaz, come and tell me, because we're going through a stage at the moment. We feel like we're scratching our heads every week. We feel like we're talking about the same thing, because really we can get back into Abu Dhabi. Like, we've heard Adam speak, and Adam has more or less doubled down that they're going to be in Abu Dhabi by the end of this year. Now, one thing I really want to see with the earnings, are they going to double down? Because I feel like both Archer and Joby's earnings at this moment in time is crucial. This Q4 earnings, it'll tell us how they've got on last year, but it's the projections I'm looking for. I want to see the forward-looking statements. What worries me is, I know Bagger Holden commented on one of the videos yesterday, and he said that he can see Joby pushing back the timeline. And this is my problem. The bears are starting to be proved right. And the problem with the bears like that, saying that they've said it before and it's been proved right, you're going to start getting fear in the market. When you start getting fear, people are all just going to start pulling out. Now, guys, that could be an opportunity. This is not financial advice. However, I do think we are due another major pullback before that major run around certification. I feel like
it'll definitely be
even
before
if there's
tax.
Bad earnings, I'm going to double down. Now, I don't know, is it just my full-on belief in Joby just because they've been around the block, but I just have this inkling that they're going to pull something out of the bag.
Yeah. I think it's very similar for me, that I think around the tax season now you're going to see a bit of a pullback, but I do think most stocks are going to rally then towards the end of the year. So I think we see what that earnings. I think this earnings score is going to be really eye-opening, and we can see what the plan is for the rest of the year. And it's going to be much needed by this point, because like we need a bit of news. We need to find out where is this going. So I'm really looking forward to the earnings call, and I think once we've found out about that, we can sort of see where this ship is going. And I think like the other thing we need to bear in mind is these guys are writing the rule book on FAA for eVTOLs. So even if it has been pushed back a little bit and BAG has been proved right, like this is a breakthrough technology. So it's not as simple as like, I don't know, it's not like submitting an assignment. Like it has to be done by the 1st of June. Like this is like an ongoing process. And then as I was saying at the beginning of this stream, like FAA, the aviation industry, that safety is absolutely paramount. And we need to make sure that these crafts are foolproof. There can't be any mistakes. And I'm quite assured at the moment that that's why it's taken as long as it does. And for me, I would prefer it to be 100% safe rather than risking it. We have a mistake and the stock goes to zero. So like it's just about patience. Similar to what we were saying about Palantir earlier, where we weren't patient. We took a quick buck, and then it went down, and we thought we'd made like we were laughing, saying that, oh, look at this, we can read the market, and the next thing you know, it's $100. So it's
Well, I'll be dead honest with the guys. Even to this day, like, I got basically caught my pants down with Nvidia at the moment. I think most of us did. I said it to you. I was making a bit of money. I was more or less trading that up and down, up and down.
yeah.
Doing a little bit of messing about. And you've seen a massive pullback from the most valuable company in the world. So, guys, one thing I would say to you, this is not financial advice. However, we have all been stung by it. And if you haven't, you will get stung by it eventually. Where you believe in a company is going up. You start messing around, putting out, buying, selling. It works a few times. Then you start messing around with more and more shares, and next thing you get caught with your pants down.
You're going to get caught one way or the other as well. And it's like either way, you'll have traded a few pound, and then you'd have lost half your bag, basically, like half of the money you put in.
I'm stuck with quite a bit of Nvidia now at the moment, but I'm not gutted because I know where it's going. But if you're messing around in volatile stocks, we've named a few before, you can either get caught and you're left holding the bag, or you could be out of the likes of Joby or Archer, and next thing they've taken off without you. And you knew it was going to happen. Reese said a good thing about it before. You get greedy and you just go after the quick money. Please, nothing in life, if anything's too good to be true, it is.
100%.
And the only way you can guarantee that you will make money on Archer and Joby, if you solely believe in it, is by staying in it. This jumping in, jumping out is not going to work. It may work many a time. I know one of the other big YouTubers on Rocket Lab. He won't mind me saying this, Dave G. So he stays in Rocket Lab, and I know his partner dives in and out of Rocket Lab. And there was a good few times where his partner would make quite a bit of money from pulling in, pulling out, pulling in, pulling out. But who was right in the end? When Rocket Lab took off, now, I don't know for certain was his partner in or out of Rocket Lab at the time that it happened. But why chance it?
Yeah.
When you have that high conviction in the stock, why chance it? So that's my one thing. Story from the hustle profiles this week. The one thing, please don't go messing around. If you solely believe in it, do what you want. If you don't believe in it and you're just here for a quick dollar, do what you want. Come in, come out.
And I think if you are someone that sort of struggles with, like, if you do want to do a bit of day trading, or you want to be trading a bit, maybe just keep it to like 5% of your portfolio, or like a 10% of that you like, then that's fair enough. Then if you that 5% and you're willing for it to be at a higher rate or a lower rate, but don't do the whole pot. That's the main part of it. You need to be very much pot heavy on what you believe in. And that applies for every stock. It doesn't have to be solely for Joby and Archer, just because we are.
Like, I find the problem is, and this is just human psychology, guys, I am not associated to this book in any way, but it just is a good book to read. Psychology and Money. It will teach you a lot. Now, when things are going good, you always think you're the best trader in the world. You feel like you're Warren Buffett, Cathie Wood. And when something goes bad, you actually feel like you're the worst trader in the world, or you blame the market. You can do two things, and neither are right. You're not the worst trader in the world. You're just on the wrong side, and it's not the market's fault. The market has no emotion. The market just moves. The only way to gain from the market is be in the market. Look, do you know what? We should be charging a tenner for everyone, to hear. We could be like Cathie Wood speaking. You know, I'll just clip this and just mess with you. But
it's a bit like what they say about at one point someone buys a stock and someone sells a stock, and they both think they're right. Like, the stock's going to go, one of them's going to be wrong, and one person's going to be right. But like at that point, both people thought they were completely correct, and they have their own rhymes and reasons, but one of them's got to be wrong. One of them's right and one of them's wrong.
That is one thing I love about this, and I love about the whole community, is that we don't just have bulls and we don't just have bears. We have both. And you know what? I will listen to both. Yes, we have a bit of a laugh with the bag of holding, but the bag of holding understands that we're having a bit of banter back and forward.
Yeah.
But some things he does say, I do actually take on board a little bit. However, there is quite a few things that I don't agree with, but he's entitled to say them. And I'm not just targeting him. There's many of people.
Yeah. I think everything can be taken with a pinch of salt. Some of it, I think, is just ludicrous to get a reaction. But then some of it obviously does have a bit of substance to it. And then I think that's when we sort of go away and just see, like, what are their plans to try and counteract this problem? And how can they get over it? And then we sort of weigh it up and see if, like, does that sound like a plausible way out? And to be honest, at the moment, it seems like they've came up with quite a lot of solutions to these problems. But as we were saying before, I think at the moment what we're all crying out for is some sort of time frame. Yeah. Like, I would love to know what is the plan, or I know it's very difficult because they probably don't even know the exact time frames, because like there's going to be a certain part of the tech or that are very difficult to get past these regulations. But what is like if they've done a program at the moment, where are we along that program? Like, where are we along this timeline? Even if it's just broad brush, or just go really heavy on it. Like, whether you think maybe give it an extra couple of months to see, like, for risk. But at the moment, it's very much just literally how long's a piece of string. Like, we genuinely just do not know.
But then there's another thing I have thought about myself. Like, what have we? 21 people here, and I can have a bet. The fact that you're here, you are as passionate about eVTOLs as we all are.
And you're probably hoping that we had some news that you guys had.
And you'd be glad.
And that's the only reason we're here as well. We were hoping you had some news.
But I actually thought about this, like, because we're so passionate about something, we then get pulled into this speculation constantly, or we constantly want news, Now, to be fair, it's mine and your job to find the news, whatever, But the problem is we get frustrated when we don't have any news, But if you think of a company as a black box, and we just, from the outside, we're looking in, we're speculating on everything that's happening inside that company by everything that comes out of that box. Or, e.g., looking at a box in transit, And we're now betting our hard-earned money on a company because we're hoping that we have seen a box on the back of a lorry, and we now think that is a vehicle that is going somewhere close to an airport, that hopefully now that there's a ticker symbol, it's then going to fly, and then we're off to the races. Guys, do you know what would make life so much simpler? Do you do diligence? You're highly convicted in Archer and Joby. Don't worry about it. Until there's something to worry about, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think we worry too much about our stocks.
That's
we
exactly
dive down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Because the problem is now, you start thinking, well, why is the S4 not on the back of a truck going from Joby to somewhere?
Yeah.
And it just...
Yeah.
You can go round in loops.
Yeah, and this like never-ending horse race, then you think, oh, actually, maybe Archer are a few steps ahead, or maybe I should take some out of Joby and put it into Archer, and then Joby might come out, and I don't know, they've got two boxes. Now do I take some out of Archer and put it into, like, that's where we are now. But to be fair,
really scares me. Look, we've seen that in the comments so much lately. Is the amount of people that say, I was only in Joby, but now I've gone into Archer. And guys, there's nothing. I'm not against that. Like, each to their own. I actually think you are better at being in both, but that's my own opinion. However,
it's hedging your bets, isn't it?
The problem is they're coming out of Joby to go into Archer after Archer's pump. Now what's going to happen is Joby's going to pump, and they're going to go back to Joby, and then you've missed both. Or Archer will go down, Joby will go up. Like, just stay where you are. The best thing you can do, if you want to earn more money, is actually go to work, earn more money, and put it in, instead of worrying about who has what on the back of a lorry.
Yeah, exactly that. But that's sort of what we were saying earlier in terms of like not jumping in between. And if you are doing it, make sure you're not doing it full pot each time. It's just it's a way to easily lose money quickly.
Dylan Rogers. Breaking news. Adam Goldstein went to the University of Florida. I mentioned that because how many investors even know where our CEO went to college? JK on breaking news. Do you know what? You actually got me there, because I was like, how's that breaking news? But you know, this is what we've got to. Like, this is the frustrating thing. Like, this is what I mean. This is the kind of stuff that we see floating around X.
And then you see it all the time.
It's like wildfire at the moment. Like,
and then like somebody will jump on then and be like, this guy who works at this airport went to University of Florida at the same time. That must mean that like it's going to be into what is it, the Salinas Airport, 100%. And then the next thing you know, you've got the rumor. Then some guy writes an article about it, and then you got us two doing a video on it. And there you go. And it all started just because Dylan Rogers said that he went to University of Florida. Like that is the world we live in at the moment. But it could all be eradicated if Archer and Joby just start giving us a little bit of news. Even if the news is that we're just on hold at the moment for regulations.
Guys, do any of you invest into vertical aerospace? Because I know Vaz has quite a bit of information on vertical aerospace. I just want anyone to let me know. Now, what I might do, Reese, because the comments are starting to build up, I might throw a few in. So, Dylan Rogers, made it early. Hope everyone is doing well today. I put my write up on quarter 2 24 earnings on the Reddit. You know my thoughts on Reddit. I'll keep it there. Take your time, be here, ready. When we feel like we're in a drought, we can always look more into the leadership and make sure the community knows to see sweet execs and who and where they're from. Do you know what? That is true. Like, I can have a bet the majority of the community don't know even who's on the board of Archer Defense. However, they feel like they know what's on the board of an articulated lorry. Like, that's the kind of level we're going to now. If you do the right due diligence, you'll know your company. So then you can trust in your company. And until there's actual news to make you not trust in the company, don't worry about it. With the right due diligence and conviction, I feel that we can make buying Archer shares in the $8 to $10 range. And be like the days of buying Palantir in the range, because you know the company in and out. Do you know what it is? What we like, we're Rocket Lab. We're the exact same way, yeah? So me and Reese ring each other every day. Or I got in at 4:15. Or, do you know what? It's getting a bit close to 4:20 now. And then, or remember, it was back in August. I remember. It was actually, I know the date. It was the 1st of August. It went down to 298. Now, I wasn't actually around that day. Something happened, but I missed the 298, and I know I would have pulled the trigger at 298. However, another thing is, I know if I seen it at 298, I'd actually start having fear that I've made the wrong decision. So it swings and roundabouts. Like, I've said it before, you buy on the green, or you buy on the red days and you sell on the green days. But on the red days, there's nothing worse. Like, even I know my philosophy. However, when the Uber trade went wrong, I was gutted. And when I can just see my shares going around after all my due diligence and it's still going down, and you get a little bit frustrated. However, I do know it's going to bounce back. Yeah. So you just have to dig deep, and it can be hard. And it's as simple as coming in somewhere like here or another YouTube channel, anything, but just talk to different people before you sell anything ever. Talk to someone that, not to give you advice, but just see if they've been in the same situation that you have. Because I can have a bet, not many people admit it, but a lot of people have lost a lot of money. And
100%.
I'm going to be dead honest with you now. Like, me and Reese are quite open about this. At the very start, we blew up our accounts 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So you're talking to the specialist in failure here. So honestly, never be embarrassed about something like that. I actually think it's better to let it out there, because when people are able to relate to you, they may be able to help you with solutions to the problem. The problem is we live in a world that everyone just talks about how much they made, their green days. Like, me and you could come on here and be like, we're the best investors ever. We made 500% in Rocket Lab.
Yeah.
We're not lying, but we're also not telling the truth, because we haven't told what also went wrong.
Because you don't understand the path to get to that point. But I think that's the way that the world is now, isn't it? It's like with Instagram and stuff like that, or Facebook, or whatever anyone uses. People only show like the highlights. Everything is just a highlight now. Very glamorous. It's all wins. Like, I basically started investing and I made 1,000% sort of thing. But they don't say, well, I actually lost money in the first hand. I had to learn 10 mistakes and like learn them the hard way. Like, you really take it to heart. But then after that, then you start seeing the green days, and then you're like, oh, actually, it's because I learned all of these like tricks of the trade, and it's all through experience. And like, to be honest, you don't learn a lesson better than when you've made a huge mistake. Like, I can genuinely, like, and you're sitting there just contemplating it for the entire week.
And no. And when you're feeling sick at night,
feel sick,
and you don't want that bell to ring in the morning. And you know, when you're ringing each other and you're like, will I put more money in to like stop the margin call? But in your heart, you know that like you're just like.
But even when you have something like, when you have some sort of leverage, like, you're literally, your heart's just always like and like any sort of small movement, like when it goes up, you're really ecstatic. But then like when it goes down, you just have this pit of despair, and you're looking towards that percentage. You're like, oh no, it's getting close. And I just can't deal with that amount of stress. It's just.
So I'm going to bring it back to my story. That there was 2 times I've nearly quit investing. Yeah. The first time was that time we when I say blown up an account, I mean like, guys, it actually makes me feel sick talking about it now. Like, where would we be today if all that was just in Rocket Lab and we didn't do nothing? But however, if we'd done that and we made all this money in Rocket Lab, it would have been so easy, and we would have blown that up, and that would have been. Yeah. There was that, and then there was the second time.
I'm very glad I learned the lesson with leverage. Like, I've seen loads of people tell me about, like, my people I work with and my friends, where they're telling me about how they've been called out on leverage. And I believe that the stock market, not calling it manipulated, but it works in a way that leverage is not.
It works in a way to get you margin code. Like,
100%.
Them hedge funds know how to get you margin code.
Yeah, they do it. They do it to short it. Yeah, 100%. That's I know for a fact, because you'd have great news and then your stock would plummet like 25%, and you'd be sitting there like, what? Like, this is what I've been waiting all this time for. And then guess what? After you've gone down 25%, it rallies then 90%. You're like, I would have made an absolute killing.
Remember Rocket Lab? It happened to us. They had a smashing earnings, and then they done that convertible note where they more or less diluted.
Yeah.
And we just thought it was all happening all over again. We were like, nah, mate.
Nah. We started thinking, it was us. We were sending companies under. That was rough, very rough. But that was like the one where it sort of taught me just to hold on, like, just out of pure belief. And the fact that we weren't leveraged meant there was no risk. Like, I was just going to wait until it basically made my money again. That's how I was looking at it. And then once it started making money, then we were like, well, why would we jump out now? We'll wait till Neutron. And we're here now. We're still waiting for Neutron.
Do you know what it is, guys? I think sometimes the world is too like, they want to show you that they are the best thing since sliced bread, yeah. And I can promise you, I could name a few off the top of my head, but I'm not going down that path. But you'll go onto YouTubers where they'll say they've made this amount of trades and they've never lost, and they're the best trader going, and they know best. They'll shoot on everything else, guys. I'll be real with you. No one, unless you just don't sell. There's no one just doing 100% success rate.
And especially not if you're going into like volatile stocks. I think maybe if you had a huge pot to start with, where you just go into like a Coca-Cola or something and then leave it for 10 years, then maybe.
You're searching for like 0.5% gains.
Yeah, that's what I mean in terms of that. If you're going super safe with it, but I imagine everyone is similar boats to where we are going into these stocks where they are a bit volatile. And not every single trade you do is going to work. And you're going to have to spread that portfolio around. Yeah, you're going to have to spread the portfolio around because you don't want all your eggs in one basket. That famous saying, it applies in this industry, definitely, or in this investing world, 1,000,000%.
Like, we could quite easily just go all in Evtol. Our whole channel is based on Evtol. We went all in and off.
Yeah.
So we could go all in. However,
that was the lesson that we learned from Virgin Galactic.
What people said, we've rode this donkey before. Like, not a chance. Like, no matter how bullish I am.
Yeah. You can believe, you can believe in something, but don't get sidetracked from the fact that, like, the worst thing in the world can happen. We've done it with Virgin Galactic, where we went all eggs in. We were ready. So, like, just be wary. Like that. Like, these things can happen. It's a horrible world we live in. Like, guys,
the thing is, people will look at us now and be like, "Why did you invest in Virgin Galactic and stuff like that?" Yeah. However, guys, you need to think back. Yeah, it's easy to look back and say that now. Yeah, but I can have a bet the majority of you were in Lilium. Yeah, but if you look back now, you'd say Lilium was a stupid investment. However, at the time, it wasn't. Like, if you think Virgin Galactic were promising everything, they were promising all these celebrities. We're going to bring all the public to space. It was going to be great. We're going to go in and out. It's going to be an experience. They were going to build like hotels around there, everything. So, like, you can see why we invested. We were only new to invest in, and then we had Cowboy in it, the way forward, manipulating the market, and we were just naive, if anything.
No, 100%. And I think that's what sort of taught us about our due diligence as well, and checking about the companies and make sure you listen to like all the earnings, and you sort of have some sort of expectations and make sure they align. And I think you just need to really get your finger on the pulse. You need to make sure, sort of like we're saying now, where we're all here in this community, where we're just checking for the news and making sure we're up to date.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure there was a few red flags there that we missed, and like, had we have been a bit further in the game, then we really should have picked that up. And I hope that as a community here, if people are seeing red flags, that we do start picking up.
And I have no problem in sharing. If you genuinely don't think you're going to get hated on, if you genuinely have a red flag about any of these companies, we will share it. We don't care. Good or bad, we want it to come out, because really, we just don't want people to go through the exact same joke of a thing we went through before. And I'll bring it back to that. So we were all about investing in space and people, like, because you can see we're quite into space. So RedWire,
future technology, basically.
So like space tourism, like, makes sense. Like, if you think we're thinking about flying cars, now, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But if that all goes under, everyone will be looking back and being like, "Why did we do that? Why did we think of flying cars?" Like, we now think, "Why did we think of space tourism?" However, guys, I know space tourism will be a thing. I don't think Virgin Galactic are the ones to take them there.
Yeah.
But I do
They
think
might be the Lilium of space
yeah.
tourism.
Now Lilium
It's
wasn't
just a
good
bit
enough.
for us.
I
Yeah.
don't think vertical aerospace is good enough. However, I do believe in both Joby and Archer heavily. I also believe in EHang as well. Vaz, I don't think Lilium is much of a red flag at this point, as long as they can resume their operations this month. I politely disagree. I think they're failure waiting to happen. Even if they come out of this whole mess, how many companies have got themselves in that situation? And until they have an aircraft that they can constantly operate.
I quite like their design, to be honest. I thought their design was quite cool.
I think it looks quite cool. I love the whole thing about it.
And they had some decent tech on there as well.
That is willing.
The only thing I can see for them maybe is if they got bought out by somebody. That's the only thing I could possibly see for Lilium. But I don't know what their debt situation is, and would people be willing to take that on?
The problem with Lilium now as well, like how would it work with Trump's tariffs?
Oh God, yeah.
That's
something we haven't discussed yet either. The Trump's tariffs are going to be an interesting one. I think as long as it's being manufactured in America, and they were providing American jobs, I think that might be a way around it. But if they were trying to like buy them in, I think that's the problem.
Yeah. It'll stop the likes of EHang from coming in. However, EHang don't plan on coming in until 2032, I think it is, and Trump will be well gone by then. And I'm not going into politics. I'm not actually that big into US politics, so I don't know what will happen at the next election, but I can have a bet the tariffs will be gone. Sorry, I posted that on Reddit because I thought there was a link to the Reddit page you guys preferred that content to go to. It wasn't on that original Reddit page. Don't worry about it. Like honestly, I don't mind you posting stuff on it. It's just I don't go on it. So let me jump into a few more. So this is coming from X. Evtol concepts were just beginning to be mentioned at the 2024 CES in Las Vegas. And at that time, it was stated as before the end of the decade. So it's still way ahead of schedule, in my opinion. I think it'll be well there before the end of the decade. I do, honestly, hand on heart, I believe we'll see it in the Middle East this year, if not Q1 26. As a fully fledged operation, like a Tesla rollout, yeah, that could be close to 2040, mate. I don't think any of this is going to be a quick. I think a lot of investors think this is going to be a quick run. Yes, they have the first mover advantage, but they also then need a massive, massive amount of capital to just keep producing these aircrafts. Because if you think, how much, can anyone tell me how much is it going to be to fly in dollars, not the price of a black cab or whatever, in dollars? How much is it going to be to fly on a Joby S4 or a Archer Midnight? And then tell me how much do they cost to manufacture? Divide that and tell me the amount of days it'll take. With operational costs as well, the likes of running these vertiports, running all the factories.
Yeah.
Mate, it's going to take a long time to get these absolutely operational viable.
Commercialization is, I think, getting it past certification is the first step, and then getting it to commercialization is going to take longer. Like doing one prototype, I think is probably going to be easier than mass producing thousands of these, because you'll come into different problems. But as we were saying, we would like the certification this year to be the stepping stone, and then it sort of is the proof of concept that we need. And at that point, then we're onto a good thing, basically.
Fair enough. Funny enough, I'll be doing a video on lithium soon. Vaz, I'll make sure to check that out, mate.
100%, yeah.
You could completely prove us wrong. Do you know what? We're not actually mad up on lithium, to be fair. We only more or less scour through it. When they were going through all their problems, we were making a few videos on it, but we've more or less distanced ourselves at this stage from it because it's not something we invest in. If it was something the community really wanted us to keep covering, I've no problem in doing it, but I just felt like it was more or less one or two people were just holding on to lithium for dear life. But Vaz, I will make sure to watch that video.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, let me know how you get on with it. I know he done a video on vertical aerospace. I haven't seen that yet, but let me know, Vaz. Is vertical aerospace? They're more or less done now, and they're running themselves into the ground. I haven't looked entirely into them. It's their only chance at this point, as German government don't want to support them, and targeting US market would cost too much.
This is the problem that I had with them. Like, I worry when the company's sort of relying on the government to sort of, as we see for all governments, that once you're like government reliant, you're not as efficient as you need to be. That's why you need to be in the private market, to make sure you're cutting costs and not just taking government handouts.
And I just don't really want to go after any business that is solely dependent. And that's what worries me with, you hear me bang on about Archer the whole time, is I don't want to be just after a business that is only sort of operating in the likes of Saudi and stuff like that, because the proof of concept is not there as such, because these boys are willing to spend massive money on absolutely, look at the boxing, for example, yeah. They want it, they'll have it. So like,
that is one thing I quite like. That's one thing that it gives me a bit of solace. I feel like they are willing to pay a premium to have cutting edge technology and to go into Saudi, Abu Dhabi, the best experience that any sort of person going there can have. And with all of the boxing and stuff like that coming out in Saudi, you can imagine they will be investing into that to make sure the celebrities and stuff that are coming off the planes, oh wait, look at this, we have an Evtol here, you'll be to your hotel in 9 minutes rather than 45 in traffic. Like, I know for a fact that would be a massive selling point. And to them, 500,000, million, 2 million, 10 million is nothing. Like, I'm pretty sure they paid Tyson Fury, was it like 80 million just for a half an hour boxing match? So
took some more look at some option info. If you have time to take call this week, send me a message when you have time. We let Dylan in.
Yeah, can do.
Let me see. Right, what I'll do, can you take control of the comments now?
No.
Right. So 2030, first proper operational flights, in my opinion. For Lilium or in general? I think you're talking about Lilium. I agree. If they stay in business, 2030, potentially. Who is this hover that they're all going on about?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'd have to.
I think it's Zone Vendor keeps commenting about hover, and I'll be dead honest with you, mate. I haven't looked at it yet, but I am willing to look at it for you. If I like them, I'll put up a video about them. Now, if it's something the whole community want, I'll do a video on it anyway. But let me know on that. Dylan, do you mean call in now? Because if that's so, I'll drop the link to you here.
It's a penny stock, this hover.
Is it?
Yeah. A market cap of 20 million. I'm not sure what's happened to it.
There we go, Dylan. I've sent you.
I'm interested in this. I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna have a look at this hover afterwards, and see what it's all about. Because I do know Zone of Vendor is always here. So yeah, let's have a look
John
into
Ender
that.
does give quite a bit of support, and thank you for that, brother.
Exactly.
Full-scale operations in particular areas, not full market coverage.
Yeah.
Vads, if you ever want to call in too, let us know, because it would be cracking. Son of Ender, great to see you. There's enough information. You need to step back and see it in the wider frame. Love it. Thank you. Not really. Currently secured enough money to carry their operations probably to the end of 26. That's financial side. Have a look at the video. I've included all info. Perfect.
To do that.
That is vertical aerospace. He reckons they're more or less going under. I don't know if I'm mad on vertical anyway. I done one video. I think you done one video as well on it. They just didn't take my fancy really. Dinner Rogers, thanks. And I'm always lurking when I can. Thank you, brother. We do see you about. It's too complex for this chat. Faz, I completely agree. You need to come on one of these and explain it to us. We are completely open and honest. Like, look, we don't know absolutely anything about eVTOLs. We're just two fine, beautiful, passionate men about the eVTOL industry. You may know more. Some of the members may know more, but we're just here to be the voice.
Yeah. And we're always open for an open chat and learn, and we can learn something about it. Maybe we can have an open discussion, and it should be quite fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. Do you know what it is? You'll be talking to two masters in failure, as we've said today.
Yeah, exactly. Just hope it doesn't rub off on you.
Yeah, let's not rub it off on Archer and Joby. That. We said it here first. Lithium was always a luxury product. Do you know what? I would love to fly on a lithium jet. I can't even lie though. They actually look amazing.
They do look really good.
If it's okay, I got my son with me. Let's see, maybe we can catch each other this week. He might be more interested in getting. No, that's no problem. Hover has only 20 employees, which concerns me, but they do have a nice concept, eVTOL craft that is only in a small drone form.
Okay.
I don't know if 20 employees, are you going to rattle this space though?
I don't think it's something. I prefer a bit more of a bit healthier balance to it.
Yeah.
If it's a smaller part of your portfolio, there's no problem. I'm putting it into it.
Guys, can you actually do one thing for me? I actually beg you. Please smash that like button, because we are going streaming the Archer and Joby earnings live.
Yeah.
When you like the videos, it suggests us in the algorithm. That way, we don't have to be going around on the likes of Twitch, Facebook. I've stayed away from that R word. Promoting it. Really, I just want to be able to sit down, Reese, and have a longer stream rather than trying to promote this stream constantly coming out. So, guys, please bang that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, you have to subscribe for this one, because
it's going to be. I think it'll be a good watch along with all of us. And we want all the Joby Archer investors in it with us. We're going to get the chat flowing. We're going to be speaking about it before, and then afterwards, we're going to do a bit of a debrief. How did it match up against our expectations that we'll discuss beforehand? How did it match up against your expectations? And are we going to be even more bullish, or are we going to be more reserved going forward? But yeah, I'm really excited. I think we're all in need of some information.
If we get good news, absolutely amazing news, I'm willing to come on in the stream after, and we can have a bit of like a celebration talk between us all. Just have the.
I might get a few beers in then, just as a.
Oh, mate, we can have a few beers with the lads and just.
That's it,
chat. Now, guys, if that's something you'd like, and we could even have a few people call in, the likes of Vaz, Dylan Rogers,
Yeah,
any of you
100%,
guys, if you want
yeah.
to call in and just have a
And get
chat,
your
even
say.
around the earnings. In the next eVTOL stream, it's going to be called Evtol and RedWire Space, because that VTOL connection, and we are starting to invest into a bit of RedWire Space. I've noticed most of the community are quite big in RedWire, so we want to kind of take that under our wing. So don't be put off. We're not coming away from eVTOLs. It's just we're talking about RedWire an awful lot in these streams as well. So we're going to tie it into the stream. So, Reese, same time next week.
Same time next week. I'll see you guys. Thanks all for tuning in.
Guys, thanks a million. And make
Perfect.
sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notify bell on the earnings.
So, see you later.